Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome to the discussion for Now or Never, which if you're not familiar, is the third in the Azrium trilogy. There were two before this, Above and Below, which, God, when did that come out? 2012?
At least.
Yeah. Now or Never, which I want to say was around 17, and then this one in 2022. I'm going to go ahead and say I do enjoy this game, but it's not Sleeping Gods.
Right.
Sleeping Gods has basically, I know they're completely different games, but I'm just like, I'd rather play that. But this is not a Sleeping Gods review. You can go check out both of those. But I will say, and this is probably where we're going to disagree, maybe, I do think this is a culmination of both Above and Below and Near and Far merged together.
I can see that. They're merged together. I mean,
I very much enjoy this. I have a better time with this than I did with Near and Far because it takes what's really good about Above and Below and what's really good about Near and Far and combines them. So this feels like a more, and it makes sense. You know, it's been 10 years since Above and Below, and then it's been like 6 since Near and Far. So he definitely had a lot to work on. Probably heard the pros and the cons of people as the games went on. But man, do I get very much elements from Near and Far, especially when you're doing the chapter stuff, and then the buildings with Above and Below. So if you like both of those, then I would say, without a doubt, you would like this. That's just my presumption, but I will also say if you like one a lot and you don't like the other, you might not enjoy this, just because it does have similarities of both of those games. But overall impressions, yeah, I do enjoy this. This definitely has like an engine building element to it. So if you can kind of ramp and kind of get a certain engine for a strategy that you want to go for, this game rewards that. But if not, then it might not be. If you don't like engine buildings or things like that, and this one just doesn't work, then yeah, you're playing a 2-hour game trying to catch up. So
and that's what one of my points was going to be. Is it's hard to catch up in this game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like once you get things going, it's just like just keep steamrolling.
Right.
You know, that about halfway through that game we played, when you had 2 rows full of buildings and I had 2 buildings,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I knew where it was going.
Yeah,
because there's just ramping and stuff like that.
Right, because money goes a long way. You even start with a bunch of money because you need it to be able to build the buildings. There is one complaint that I do have, and I think the run-through makes it very apparent. But the order tokens in the Tower of Miners are huge. Like, because as a free action, you can just complete it, and all they need are goods. So like, and it's not that hard. Hey, 4 hammers. I mean, if you get all those people, they're just like, there you go. That's 12 coins. That's massive, and it goes to like 16. The hardest one was the very first one I got, needing 4 crystals, but that was 19 coins. And while there's no adamant ways to get crystals, I mean, the crystal meteorite, you can get one, but that's one turn. Then you'd have to leave and come back if you want to try and get 2 in a turn. Just being like, oh, okay, 19 coins, boom, now I'm going to do a build action, which, I mean, I love the fact that you can just free action get a shit ton of money instead of having to be like, I'm going to spend an action to get money. Your turn. Now I'm going to do this. Right. I do like the free-flowing nature of the anytime actions is what he called them. That's huge. It allows you to do a lot of stuff before you even take your turn to maximize your limited options. But yeah, I don't know if you don't have a money engine or a goods engine, it's going to be rough because monsters don't give you points.
Yeah, I had an engine, and the games I've played, I've always had the engine of trading in and getting more
That's
stuff
true.
for
Yeah.
the stuff. It just, I don't know. I don't know if it was because it was costing me more to build when I did build.
Mm-hmm.
My builder was.
Yeah, she specifically. Namal is. I mean, having one of her upgrades be buildings cost 1 fewer coin, and then getting the building out, that building costs 1 fewer coin, I was essentially always ahead by 2 coins.
Well, and that brings up another point, because I don't know what the other characters are, because these are the ones we've been playing.
Right.
You know, like, the buildings are super important.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Which
that
is
one,
the theme
that one
of the
goes
game.
towards deal, and it has all the shielding and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think her whole thing is attacking.
Yeah.
But the monsters, I mean, really the only thing you got was more villagers for defeating the monsters.
You get villagers.
That was really it for taking all the damage and having to pay 6 coins or whatever to heal and stuff. I mean, it was like everything for her is attacking, and the monsters aren't really. They're there and they get you stuff. I'm not saying they're worthless.
Yeah, they're definitely a lot different because near and far was you had the stack, if you remember, the stack of bandits or monsters that, I killed one, now the next one's a little bit stronger, but you get victory points or stuff. This doesn't have that. The monsters are really tough and they always hit pretty hard. But yeah, you either get a bunch of villagers, which, I mean, killing monsters isn't useless by any means.
Right.
Because you do get the villagers, and then if you can buy, which luckily the really good ones to house them are super cheap, to be able to get the one with 2 beds. Therefore, that first thing lets you immediately place 3. So then that gives you the goods to therefore have the goods to then sell, to then have money to buy more buildings. Yeah, that is the crux of all of Now or Never, is that you are rebuilding the monument village. Now, here is my biggest complaint, and it was more balanced in the last game we played. But everyone has the same buildings. That's not the complaint. The complaint is that you shuffle these, and how they're laid out is random, which is cool. It's your own puzzle. I mean, Now or Never definitely has a more puzzly aspect than the other two, I would say. But the fact is that because getting an engine early is so important, how your tiles can come out can drastically change how easy your game can be. Because my very first building was the 3 cost, 2 money generation.
Right.
And it's like, and then just that kind of ramped off into, oh man, I just can build all these because I now have a money engine. And it's like, oh, where's yours? Oh, directly in the middle, Which, I mean, I will say
I know.
They have ways to, I'm not saying that you didn't do that. I'm just saying if people were like, well, that sucks, you can go and fix that, but you're a step behind at that point. Because now you have to run to the Hermit's Hut to swap it. And it's like, well, someone is just like, I'm going to build, and they're already 1 building ahead.
Well, and another thing that was rough, and I know it's just luck of the draw, that goes with a lot of the stuff in this game, is your character can ignore monsters.
Yeah.
When you move, and then when you get the mountain climbing stuff, it's like you had no hindrance.
Right.
I was taking 2 damage anytime I moved 4 spots,
and so I have more health.
Right, so I mean, I was taking damage like. That's what would hinder me from moving over here so much to move that stuff, because I had to go through double mountains or
right,
and all that stuff. You know, it's just like.
And there is stuff in the game that's definitely more mechanics than theme, because it's like, moving throughout the board is a puzzle in and of itself, which I enjoy. Like, I as far as I can tell, like Above and Below doesn't have like a board at all.
Yeah.
And Near and Far does have movement, but it wasn't really that bad. You just have to exert energy to move further. But this one, it's kind of grid based. You move around trying to avoid monsters, and I definitely see the disparity between.
Why couldn't they just make this 2 movement points? Why
I
did it
know.
have to be a damage every time? That's the thing. It's like, because
mountains are rough, apparently.
Well, I know, but it's like, because you can exert yourself.
Yeah.
So force yourself to take the damage for exerting yourself, not automatic damage for moving through.
And it does, it does seem like there are paths around mountains and around monsters. That is definitely the but it takes you. It's the longer way. Maybe because she's all about attacking. Her things are, she has height and movement. What are your 3? Because she's super
3, 4, 4.
Okay, so she's 2, 3, 4, and has 2 mana. You have an extra mana, and I think the vampire knife would have been huge because then you could restore it. Probably what's best for her. Granted, her sword seems to be all about killing things, Because once the monsters are dead, they're dead. There's two. It's depending on the number of players, but once they're gone, then that just radically opens up more people. Like maybe she's all about going out and killing a shit ton of monsters because you hit really hard. That she doesn't hit hard. I just have to tank it. And then now you just clear up the thing. You have a swath of villagers because luckily it's not one of those where I can't house them, so I have to get rid of them. No, you can keep them all near you, and then like you're like it's almost thematically representing like people following. You're like what is it, Moses leading the people out of Egypt? It's like, I will get you a house. Just hold on a sec. I need to kill all these monsters. Because then, once you have all those villagers, because you're getting a shit ton of XP to constantly keep cycling, then now you can move around a lot more because she has extra movement. She already has her buffed movement.
Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff. Like, the fighting the monsters. You know, I ran into that a lot of times, like, especially the bigger ones, because there's the 5 hit ones, 6 hit ones.
Yeah, 7
if you don't kill them in 2 times... You're done.
Yeah,
it's like, so you have, I wasted a couple of turns not being able to having to not finish a fight just because. Right. And I mean, I had big hits. It was just like I couldn't.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about the D4 determining what you do. Like,
yeah,
it's very weird because it's like I'm me. So I know how I want to attack. So the random like, oh, well, I thought I was going to double fist you.
Yeah.
But instead I slammed. It's like, okay. That's very, once again, not thematic. It is mechanical in that sense. Because I really don't mind the searching and taking damage. Like,
no. That's fine.
That's fine. But being like, man, I really hope I can use my royal pike. I didn't. I rolled a 3, actually. It was your royal pike. But it's like, I guess I used my flame saber.
Right, well, and
that's not fair.
And I wish, and I know this is a mechanical thing again, but, like, if you kill them on the last turn, and it would kill you too. Like,
yeah, you lose.
Like, yeah, so it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, the fighting monsters is purely, they are obstacles. It's not meant to be thematic in any way. But I will say that this game doesn't, well, the standard game itself doesn't feel so, I don't know. There are a lot of avenues to be able to play the way you want to play, but Now or Never, and this is why Sleeping Gods has ruined all these games for me. Now or Never, Near and Far, and Above and Below have their theme, and that's what you do. In Near and Far, you build trade routes, and you go out further, and you get, you build camps. Here, you build buildings. That's going to get you a bunch of points. And like, it's, so there is kind of a track in how you're going to play. It's just kind of like, what engine are you going to get to do so? I think the variety is definitely the quests. Like, the quests could be huge.
Yeah, and I was having trouble completing mine in this game because they all required 2 books.
Yeah.
All of them. They all required 2 books to do any of them, and I'm just like, I'm not getting books, Right. I mean, I know I could go and pay for books, but when you only can move 3 times in a round, I mean, so really you can move 18 times in the game. Right.
And I know there are a few monsters that do give you books, but they're high health, and there's definite like card engines. Like, you have the one that you can spend a mana to be able to heal 6. Like, that's huge. The vampire knife, 5 damage, you restore 1 mana. That's huge. So it's like, you can get pretty cool combos, and I do like the mana system, but it's all like a means to an end, which is getting buildings.
Because I think even weapon wise, you almost have to have something that does at least 6 damage consistently if you're going to survive, because you can only get two attacks on most of them. A lot of them, not. I mean, some of them are 3 attacks. I mean, I know, but it's like you have to have high enough weaponry, So like, yeah, that was a 5 attack and gave me an extra mana, but it's like 5 was not going to help me in any of my battles. I had to get higher than. Yeah, you have to get like ways to heal. I mean, or you
you coat yourself, because all of these, every single blue thing gives you an armor. So it's like, which isn't that definitely isn't nothing. Like the fact if you max out on your blue stuff, and that's 3 armor, that's a lot, because even the heaviest one, this level 9, deals 7, which just naturally it will just hit you for 4. And so you're at that point you're always going to have higher damage output. But yeah, that's some of them are rough. The what was I gonna say? I mean, really, my only negative is the fact that these can definitely be set up in a way that someone can kind of start off a little bit better. And at the same time, this is also roughly about I mean, I don't know how long he says, but this is roughly a 2-hour game, and it cannot be fun to be like, okay, he's getting all those points over there. Fuck, I don't know what I can do to catch up, and then you just kind of have to sit there, because 6 seasons it's a long time, especially because you're able to do more as the game goes on. Now, let's talk about the story, because I will say I like the story system better in this than I do in the other two. And
Above and Below story system was completely just very bland. There wasn't outcomes.
That's true.
Like these, when you make a decision, it explains. Because in Above and Below, it was like you choose A, you complete A. Oh, it just said 2 coins.
You're right.
Whatever. 2 coins and a fish.
Yeah.
This one in Near and Far at least went in and explained what happened when you succeeded or whatever.
And in this one, they do the system to where your own character has their own encounters. And there's enough out on the board that, like, whenever you go to encounter them, it's just like, oh man, it's going to be my own personal thing. Versus in Near and Far, they kind of had that. Like, your characters could have an own special thing, but this is guaranteed going to be your character's story. And at the same time, you, you're always going to get like a benefit, and you don't really step in anyone's way if you take a slot from them. Like there's one right here, or like near, and it's like, oh, okay, I'll go to that one first. It's like, okay, well, I can clearly get to another one immediately as well. So it doesn't. You taking that one, it's like, oh man, now I have to trek all the way over there to try and get a story event. But it's well written. There definitely has Near and Far, Above and Below vibes. But so if you like the stories in those two, then this is good. Brad, what's your overall thoughts?
Are we doing like ranking?
No.
Just
things that.
Well, I'm
that
curious because we've played it using the stories and without the stories. Definitely the play to play it is with the story, because when you do the search tokens, you just flip them and do whatever it says on the back,
right?
And it's not.
It's like, oh man, lucky me, 4 coins, right, and someone could be like, I really wanted 4 coins.
It breaks the monotony a little bit when you read a little bit, because if there wasn't those parts where we were reading the stories, it's just like, I'm just going to do this, and then you do that, and I do this, and I do that. It's like, at least that brings a little more liveliness into it. This one, I'm still... I like it better than Near and Far.
Okay.
Not as much as Above and Below. This one sits right in the middle. Right in the middle. There's things I like about it. It's not a bad game. It's not my favorite game.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like sits square right in the middle of those two.
Yeah.
There's some good parts to it. There's other parts that just kind of don't settle well with me. Yeah,
you kind of have, it has the RPG aspect. You spend XP to get upgrades, or you go spend XP to certain locations to get stuff. That's a nice little touch. Makes you feel more unique, other than some just generic person that's wandering the land.
It's just one of those, and I know a lot of games do this, so this isn't a knock on this. It's just something I felt during this game, was that there's more things you need to do than you have time to do. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely.
Like there was stuff I needed to do, but there was not enough time to move places to get like I said, there's 18. You get to move 18 times in this game.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, unless you
And-
happen to get something
unless
that
you have
lets
something
you,
like you, yeah.
take a hero action.
So
and
it's-
it's like, lucky me.
Right.
I happen to get that, you know.
So it's like you can't just. There was some times where I was, spinning a form movement to move 2 spaces to do stuff, and that's
Yeah.
It's like, there's just those kind of things.
Right.
I mean,
and to be fair, I very much enjoy those games
Right.
where it's, you have a lot to do, you can't do it all. So, because for me, and there has been games, I can't think of one off the top of my head, but where it's like you can do it all, and then you're like, why would I want to play this again,
Mm-hmm.
So this one does have you, at least me, wanting to come back. One of the most annoying things is, like, I do like the fact you have to get villagers, just run-of-the-mill villagers. They're not specialists, they can't do anything, but you house them. That's kind of neat to kind of get them there because that's your engine. At the end of the day, this is an engine-building game, but you have so much going on. You have atmosphere, you have story. Ryan Lockett fucking kills it with his world and his art and his his storytelling is campy. It's fun. It's not like serious. Sleeping Gods is, God, that game is amazing. But this is without a doubt like the culmination of the 2 that came before it. So it's like, yeah, I do like that. It's like, man, okay, I only get 3 actions, and you're right. Yeah, there's times where it's like you're like, okay, I'm gonna move my 4, and then you use it and you do something that you really want to do, and then you're like, oh man, I need to go right there. It's 1 space away. I guess I'll waste my 3 to do that. And sometimes you have to. It's action efficiency. But then again, there are a lot of random elements, like the stupid people that I think I was the only one that cycled every single time trying.
I was letting you because I was looking for certain things, but I didn't have the experience to do it, or
right. Like I was going. You were spending all your experience on upgrades, and I'm over here like trudging, trying to get 2 just to wipe it, to be like, okay, please give me a crystal person.
because I was looking for a crystal too.
But once again, kind of like other games that, worker placement things that whenever you're fighting and you get to recruit someone but you get an XP, you can be like, oh, and then spend it to then, increase your odds of getting something, but there is a massive pile here. I don't know why they didn't make a bag. Like, near and far as a bag for the specialists. This easily should have had a drawstring bag for those. Now, here's the other thing that might raise some concern. Brad's been playing games longer than I have, and of course we've played these kinds of games. But I haven't seen a game where, and this isn't trying to be bragging or anything, but it might raise some concern for people. The point spread was just so drastic, and it's like,
Yes.
and that's the thing is like, I don't feel like I did anything different to have that spread. It's just like, it felt like this was one of those games that things just happened to
Right.
help me more so than they helped you, not through any fault of your own. The cards I happened to start with, the stories I happened to have, gave me the things that I happened to need for like, and it's like, you're sitting there and you're like, man, could I get some coins in my story? And I'm over here like, oh man, goods and coins, and I'm just gonna sell it all. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't feel like I'm playing better. I'm not doing anything different. It's not like I'm over here like, fucking idiot, he wasted his turns. I'm not over here doing that. It's just like, lucky me. Because it's like, because it was like, I even forgot to add these points. Like, so that would have been, like 125 to fucking 40?
At 39.
39, which it's like, what the fuck did I do to get 125? I don't know. I really just think that things just happened to come my way, that a lot of people, if you're wanting an engine builder, should be more about player strength.
I really think the long term, and this isn't the only reason, but I'm still gonna lay down the fact that the luck of the draw that you got the mountains and you had the ability to go through monsters, because you didn't have to worry about that. I was taking 2 damage every time I tried to move, and then
Right.
eventually caught up where I was having to spin to heal and do all that stuff.
Right.
It was just like,
Well, the climbing gear was something I bought.
I know, but I'm just meaning
yes.
when you it came up, you bought it, you know, and you were just able to whiz around. You exerted yourself,
Right.
For
Well, that-
going from one side of the board to the other side of the board.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, like, this, it wasn't clear. It just says may ignore mountains. So it's like, okay, it's one shield.
Yeah.
Is that a shield in combat, or is that a shield only to ignore mountains? Is that one mountain, or is that all mountains I go through? So, because it just says may ignore mountains and it's a shield icon, I'm
Yeah.
like, okay. And then I mean, because
I think that's how it's supposed to be played. It's
right,
just-
and I which makes thematic sense. I'm
Yeah.
climbing through the mountains, but then yeah, you're right. That and each character can get those kind of engines. It's just in this particular run through that happened to work. I mean, also put it this way, because I had that, and you're kind of getting pinged every now and then, just because mountains. It's like because of just the way that my tiles came out and the goods I was able to get, I always had money to radically heal myself. Be like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna exert myself 7 times to bolt across the land, which I do like that you can do. Like you're not, but then it's like, okay, now I made it there. Okay, I'm gonna get this 8-point quest card. It costs 4 health for me to use that. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna do that, and then now I have so much money, so I'm gonna heal myself. Which is cool. Like, that's cool that can happen, but it's not cool when I didn't do anything to earn that. So it's just, you're sitting there while one person is raking it in, the other one's like, how long is this game?
Yeah, I still think it would have been better to leave the option on the player and make this like a 2 movement space.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of terrain games do. Move
Yeah.
into the space, it's 2 movement. That way, okay, that stopped me. Or if I choose to go further, then I take
Then
damage.
it takes the damage.
It's like that would make it more gameplay. So it's not just like an automatic.
Right.
Oh, you're fucked. I would move to spot that has the little squiggle line. I
Right.
take damage.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there's a... I will also say that I usually never bring this up, but this is a very weird setup. Like, it's relatively long to actually set up the game. Granted, at least the game takes about as long to play. And there is a double-sided board. We haven't tried the underground method, the underground board in standard mode rules. So that's there. That looks like it's underground. So once again, above and below.
Right.
He really must have. Because I didn't know anything about this. I just knew he was making a 3rd one, and I'm like, pre-order immediately. And I didn't even know it had I was like, well, maybe he doesn't have a story thing, because I knew
Right.
but of course he does. There's 6 total chapters. I refuse to play this as a campaign because at least he learned, and it's 6 chapters, but absolutely not, because if to be fair, it's like after the where is that? That's end of game. I'm looking for
That's
this.
what I was going to ask, because with such a point disparity, like, how does that change? Like, what would
there it
game
is.
2 be like?
At the end of the game, players earn. A player with positive reputation earns. Oh fuck! I even forgot about my reputation points.
Oh yeah, I didn't add my reputation either. I gave me 1. I know.
You got 2.
I got 41.
You got
points.
41. So what was I at 125? Because I thought
Yeah.
it's 13 and then 10 there. So So I was at 125 plus 3, 128, 131. Okay. Keep track of each player's victory points. Yep. The player with the highest total reputation combined from all 6 gains an additional 25. The player with the highest total victory points is the campaign winner. Yep. So
Yeah. So it's like, I would have been like, if we were doing a full campaign, I just would have been completely fucked then,
yeah.
because I would have been down by 90 points right off the bat. The first
From
one.
chapter 1. Yeah.
And-
Not saying, well, I mean, to be fair, if I'm able to get 131 points, that's not saying you can't in the very next one. But I despise that as a campaign. Hey, play near and far was the exact same way. Play 10 games and then add up your score. Because then it's no longer about the story. That's what his games do so well at. You want to go and, explore. You want to have encounters and stuff like that. But then near and far turned into trade routes. Like, it became cutthroat. It's like, oh, but there's a quest. I don't give a fuck about that quest token.
Go get the tents.
Yes, I'm gonna go get the tents. I'm gonna end this game so I can ramp up all these artifacts I need to buy, and so I can have the most points, because that's all that matters at the end. This is that. It's definitely shorter, and because whenever we did the discussion, not you and I, but when I did the discussion for Near and Far, I was like, I don't like it. We talked about it for a while. That like, oh, I don't like Near and Far. Then I played it again as just a standalone kind of game with the story stuff, and I was like, oh no, this is amazing. It's the campaign. It's the horrible monotony of the campaign. So whenever I saw this sheet, I was like, hell no, will I ever do that? Now, once again, combination of both. If you like Near and Far's campaign, then perfect. This will be amazing for you because then you just add up your scores. And at least what's kind of neat is he has like 4, so you can have 4 games going. Mm-hmm. That's smart. That's a nice touch. Overall, this game, I like it, but I can very, very much see if I was in your situation, I'd be fucking miserable. Like, because it's like, what the fuck? Like, why am I struggling so hard? And it's like, I'm a robot cat. Apparently I'm God, and I hover through the land taking no damage. And I'm rich. I'm actually a coin machine, so I poop out money. So, yeah, this one has some disparity with randomness. But if you're playing it casual and you're just kind of like, oh, okay, let's just do the story stuff. Let's just pick a chapter. Because it definitely doesn't seem like they connect. There is technically a chapter 2 and 3 and 4 and all that, but it's not like you're really having an overarching narrative. Because you have your introduction, and then depending on where you go, you just have an encounter.
I think it's just a way to change it so that the individual stories are different. Like on B is going to be different,
for
so
each person. Yeah.
It's just
because there's no conclusion. It's not like, oh, well, this is what happened to you. Now, next time in chapter 2. So, luckily, he also removed keywords and things like that, which I enjoy in Near and Far that they're there. But it's like, okay, let's write all that down and be a little odd and kind of tedious. I got really nothing else to talk about.
I think I'm good.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, what are you going to give it?
All right, so I can't remember what I did for Near and Far.
We didn't discuss that.
Well,
together.
I would give Near and Far probably a 4.
Oh wow, okay.
Okay, and Above and Below is probably a 7.
Okay,
for me, give or take, right around there. So
yeah,
I'm gonna put this game to me is meh.
Yeah,
it's just a game to me. Now, if I was on that side, maybe it'd be different. I don't know. But I'm just going to give it a 5, right in the middle.
Okay.
I like the story, but, the story's better than Above and Below. Mm-hmm. But it just didn't click with me. And I know it will for other people. Totally...
Right.
The times we've played this, it's just been like... I just felt like I was one step behind constantly.
No, yeah, totally get that. Yeah, because even though Ryan's a super awesome guy, he does amazing job with his games. I'm not gonna go in and be like, well, he's the best person ever. He makes the best games. No, I do enjoy this game. It does click for me. It's worth the engine building, at least in my experience. It's just happened to work out. Because at first, whenever we very first played, I was like, what the hell do I even do? Mm-hmm. Like, where do I even start? And then I was like, oh, it's about villagers in the buildings. How weird. That's what it literally told us about. So, not Above and Below. Above and Below, it's been a while since I played it. Above and Below would be about a 7. Near and Far gets about an 8. This one... It's closer to Near and Far than it is Above and Below. I think I'd probably put it at an 8 as well. And that might actually shift. Now that I think about it, I think Above and Below would be a 6. Near and Far would be a 7. This would be an 8. If they just they've gotten better for me over time. Yeah, that feels about right. I'm going to keep this as an 8, and I'll drop the other ones down a point. Because, whenever we were sitting there doing everything, I'm like, this is both those games. Like, without a doubt. So, that's it, everyone. That's our thoughts on Now or Never. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.